All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living here in Accra, Ghana. And if you want to know how to find a job in Ghana, then this is definitely the live for you. All right. We're live once again. Welcome to my live. For those of you who are new, again, my name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living here in Accra, Ghana. I do videos, and my content is about my move from the United States to Ghana. I also do some videos interviewing people who've also made the move from the diaspora to Ghana. I also am doing content in Sierra Leone as well. What you guys will notice is I do have some content from my house. I'm building a house in Sierra Leone. I also go to Sierra Leone as often as I can. And I've interviewed some folks there, and I've also gone on a bunch of different adventures and a lot of different places there as well. So all of that is documented on this channel. And really, the idea of this channel, whether you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, or you're watching me on Instagram, the idea is for people who are thinking about moving or even visiting to get an idea of what it's like to make that move. It's not easy for everyone, but we want to make sure that those who are trying to make that transition have all the information that they need. So, real quick, just let me do a couple of shout outs. Sources TV, you're first, as always. Welcome. Welcome, Evan. Haven't seen you yet. Welcome from Detroit. So, looking forward to having you on. Today's topic is how to get a job in Ghana. So, before we get into it, while we wait for more people to get on, what's up? Olivia's online. What's up, Olivia? We go way back to high school. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining. Before I get into the live, I'm going to just do some quick housekeeping just to give you guys an idea of what the schedule looks like for the week so you know when and how to catch up with all the videos, especially if you're someone looking to make the move or if you know someone who's looking to make the move. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. I got a lot to go over today, guys. I'm going to talk about how to get a job in Ghana. This is something that's been asked of me so many times. So, I'll talk a little bit about my journey, and I'll also talk to you about what I think you can do to help you prepare for this process. So, Global Green Book, love the name. One love. Thanks for stopping by. All right, cool. So, for those of you on Instagram, I'm going to pin a post, or I'm going to pin a comment so that you can get on to YouTube Live, because the YouTube Live is gonna have like visual representation of what I'm talking about. And so I'll pin the comment there so you guys can come on and join the YouTube Live. But you can stay on Instagram Live if you want. I just think it might be easier for you guys to visualize everything I'm going through, because I'm going to walk you through the different sites that I've used, and then how I used some of them. So I think this could be really informative for those of you looking to move. And by the way, this is open for questions. If any questions come along the way, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. And we'll do it like that. So without further ado, I know I said that already, but without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll get right into the presentation real quick. All right, cool. First of all, can you guys hear me? Make sure you let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up in the comments to let me know that you can hear me. I'm about to pull up the presentation now, but while I do that, just let me know that you guys can hear my voice. Okay. All right, just checking. Okay. Don't see any thumbs up as of yet. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just yes. Okay, cool. Olivia says she can hear me. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So let's get right into it. So as most of you know who've been following for a while, I do 3 videos a week, at least for now. I am looking to increase the number, especially after last weekend and meeting so many incredible content creators here in Ghana. I'm going to tell you all about that in my Wednesday video, but man, that was crazy. I've never been to anything like that here on the continent, so that was really dope. And I'm looking forward to really collaborating with a lot of folks that I met at that event. Man, that was crazy. I'll tell you guys about that in the next video, though. All right, so quick on the agenda, we're going to talk about the upload dates and times, a little bit about the website, finding a job in Ghana is the main topic, and then of course you can ask me anything. All right, cool. So as many of you already know, those of you who are new to the channel, I do videos on Monday. So Monday is my live. I'm live on Instagram Live, and I'm also live on YouTube and Facebook. I'm live on 2 Facebook pages. My original fan page that's under my name, and then also the Authentic African fan page as well. And then I'm live, of course, on the YouTube channel for Authentic African. And then on Instagram, I'm live on authentic_African. So you guys can follow me on any one of those channels so you can catch these lives when they happen. So they're always at 9 p.m. GMT. That is Greenwich Mean Time, which is right now. And then we also have 5 p.m. EST and 2 p.m. PST. So that's the weekly live. It's really going to be based on one main topic or interviewing someone based on a topic. Today, of course, it's about getting a job in Ghana. Last week it was about renting. The previous week it was about dating in Ghana. So always interesting topics. And really, the idea is to give you a view into what it's like to make that move. Wednesdays is more of a weekly update. It's kind of like a weekly journal. You can look at it as kind of like, what has this last week been for me? And so I just go through everything that's happened for me in that last week, the good, the bad, the ugly, and just give you guys all an update on where my life is at that moment in time. And then Saturday, and that's at 5 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 10 a.m. Pacific. So that's when I upload those. And then on Saturdays, I upload a vlog that just follows anything about my life in Ghana, anywhere I visited, any historical and cultural sites. Same thing in Sierra Leone, interviews with entrepreneurs and diasporans. And so that's what the Saturday content looks like. So that's what the full schedule looks like right there. So yeah, that's the weekly schedule. So make sure to stay up to date. You like any videos that you actually do like, right? Share them with anybody that you know that might be planning to make a move to Ghana, or anyone who's even planning to visit. This kind of information is good for people visiting or moving. And make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications and turn on all notifications. You want to make sure that you're notified every single time I go live and every single time I put out a new video. And then, of course, comments, whatever your comments might be, on the videos. If you have any questions, anything you felt was helpful, anything that you'd like to hear, a lot of these videos and these topics come from people writing in the comments what they'd like for me to cover. And so that's your opportunity to have an entire video focused on one specific thing. So for sure, let's make sure that we do that. And okay, so let's just jump into the website really quickly. So again, the website is Authentic African, and Authentic African is a site that I created based around the fact that when I was in the U.S., there were always people asking me how they could find products made in Africa across the entire continent by African artisans. And so I had a bunch of stuff in my apartments. I used to have a lot of get-togethers when I was in LA and in New York, and people would always ask me where I would get my carvings and my masks and stuff. And I used to get them when I was in Sierra Leone. And I did have an aunt who was in Kenya who used to send stuff and bring stuff with her to the US. And so I would also, put that stuff up around in my apartment. And so people used to ask me where I could find this stuff. And so I just saw it as it made sense to be able to bridge that gap between those in the US who are looking to find products made on the continent, but also having products made on the continent available to people in the US. You know, a lot of these countries, right? Tourism is really what fuels a lot of the economies, especially in the Caribbean and especially, of course, across the continent of Africa. And there are a lot of countries that people don't really visit. And so they don't get a chance to sell their products to diasporans that are coming to buy those products. And so for me, what I want to do is get those products from those artisans on the continent and make them available to Americans in the United States for purchase. And so that's everything from all of these different categories. That's baskets and hampers, that's shea butter, collectibles, masks and carvings, jewelry, African soap, handbags, metal statues, and sculptures, and then lastly, African instruments. So all of that is available on the site. Not going to spend too much more time there, but I just wanted to give you guys the update. And of course, the website is AuthenticAfrican.com. As you can see, there's a theme here. The entire content, all of my content is based around the authentic African experience. So sometimes that's buying authentic African items, and that could also be an authentic African experience moving to the continent of Africa. All right, cool. So the main topic of today is finding a job in Ghana. Shout out to Elizabeth for joining. What's up, Elizabeth? Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so let's just start with my main story. I think that's the best place to start. People have asked me this, how did I get my job in Ghana? Currently, I am the head of advertising at Jumia Ghana. So for those of you on YouTube, let's show you guys here so you can see it. Head of advertising. And then for those of you on Instagram Live, unfortunately it's backwards, but you can see the position head of advertising. So yeah, that's my little job badge. So you can see that's my job. And so, yeah, so this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. I help advertisers find their audiences on the Jumia e-commerce platform. And so that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So how did I get here? So it's kind of a long story, but let's just start with the job search in general. So before I get into how to find a job, let me tell you guys how I even got introduced to a number of different people on the continent, which helped me in so many different ways. I got this apartment, I got a housekeeper, I got furniture, and I got 2 consulting gigs through the interview process that I went through last year in July of 2020, long before I even came here. So let's rewind back to July in 2020 when I decided that I was moving to Ghana, and I knew I was going to be moving here, but I didn't really have a plan for what I was going to do once I got here. So I needed to at least find a job first, or at least that was the plan. And so I started the application process, and that application process was a pretty vigorous process. For me, the way I approach applications, whether in the U.S. or elsewhere, is I start by finding a role that looks interesting to me, something that I feel like I can do. I look at the job description, and first I look at everything in my current and most recent jobs that match the job description, right? Everything that I have. And if I don't have anything that directly correlates in terms of what I've written, I look for things that I might have done that do directly correlate, and then I just make adjustments to my resume to match the job description, right? So you don't want to ever make things up, because the last thing you want to do is end up in a job where you don't know how to do the things that you said you know how to do. That's the worst thing you can do. But you definitely want to update your resume to make sure that it matches the job description. So that's the first thing I did. And so, but I was looking at a new industry and a new sector outside of advertising. Now, granted, I am the head of advertising for Jumia Ghana, so we'll get there in a second. But for me, the first thing I wanted to do was get into working with startups, right? So I found a company called Mest. It is the CSR arm for a company called Meltwater. And what they do is they basically do an incubator, and they train startups how to grow, right? So if you think about a baby that's incubating, right, in the ICU, and it's they're nourishing the baby to health so that it can go out into the world. That is kind of what these incubators do for startups, right? And so that was my first goal, right? Was to apply for an incubator, get a job at an incubator, then move. I went through the interview process, and what I discovered during that process with that incubator and some of the other places that I interviewed was that their biggest challenge was I was all the way in New York City or Vermont, depending on when I was applying. And they were looking for people on the ground here, especially in the middle of what was going on during last summer, during the pandemic. They weren't really sure if people would move here or even stay here. And they weren't even sure when the borders would open up. So there were so many things that were unknown. However, through that process, one of the people who interviewed me I kept in touch with her, right? So, after I went through the interview process, she had an off the record conversation with me, explained to me what the issue was. She was like, look, if you really want to get a job here, you're going to have to move here. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. It's going to be a lot harder to find a job remotely. And so, for anyone out there who's looking to find a job remotely, I would say give yourself 5 to 6 months to find something. I know it takes a long time, but that's what I would do if you want to have a role before you make the move. If not, then make sure you have an income that's going to sustain you so that when you make the move here, you're not desperate for income, right? So luckily, I had some consulting gigs and I had money saved up and investments that allowed me to move here and not be solely dependent on a job, right? And so I went through the interview process. Like I said, I found the job actually on LinkedIn, believe it or not, and I just started applying for the role. But through that process, what I did first was I found people who were either on the team of the role that I was applying for or management of that team, human resources, and then someone who's adjacent to that team. And that's what I actually did to get a job at Hulu. So it definitely works. It's how I got an interview at Spotify in 2012, how I got a job at Hulu, how a friend of mine got a job at Vivo, how another friend of mine got a job at Vice. So this process works, right? And really what it is just emailing people at the company your resume, and I put together a little cover letter. I can share all of that stuff later. But it's like a cover email that expresses your interest in the job, in the company, and your experience. And what ends up happening is they forward that to the hiring manager. And so even before you might even apply, they might already be looking to have you come in, right? Because the idea is you want to have someone within the organization advocate for you. That helps you get through the sea of resumes that are already being sent through. So anyway, that is how I started that process. Now, I didn't get the job at Mest, right? I found out later after talking to the managing director there. Now that I've been here, I've met the managing director at that organization. I met the women from Human Resources, and their goal was to hire people here locally in Ghana and Ghanaians. And so it wasn't anything against me and my experience. It was just that that's what they were looking for. But through that, I met a really good friend. And like I said, my apartment, my housekeeper, and a bunch of my furniture all came from that one relationship. So fast forward to December, and the decision to move was fast approaching. And so I just moved, right? I didn't come here with a job, but I moved here. But I continued to talk to as many people as I could about what I was looking to do. Anybody who said, let me know if there's any way that I can help. Of course, I always try to offer value to that person, right? So I mentioned this on a call a few weeks ago, but I have a peer mentor. So someone who is about my age, but is far more advanced in his career than I am. And so, I brought him some value. And so in turn, he brought me some value. He had just launched his startup in South Africa, and it's a gaming startup, so it's like online games, and the games are free to play. And so when you're a company and you offer a free product, the only way that that company can generate revenue is through advertising on it, right? So if you think about it, right, when you watch TV for free, we're not talking about cable, but even though cable has commercials, when you watch free TV, right, 0 to 10 or whatever those numbers are on your TV, wherever in whatever country you're in, that has that has it's they're offering it to free for the consumers to watch, but they have to use ads to be able to pay for that content, right? And so what I did for him was I walked him through some ways that he could monetize his content, and I put him in touch with people who knew how to do it really well in the gaming space. And so he knew that I had the connections and I had the knowledge, right? And so when it came to, and so then there was the let me know if there's anything I can do for you statement. And so from there, I mentioned to him, well, funny you should ask, I'm looking for a job. And so he gave me a list of companies to look at, but then he also put me in touch with the CEO of Ghana for Jumia. And so the CEO of Jumia at the time, she had actually worked with him or knew him a while back in Nigeria. And so they had known each other for a while. And when December rolled around, and the original person who was in my role had left, and it left a vacancy. I had her contact information. I reached out to her, and I had the job within 3 months, right? I mean, obviously, I had to go through the process of applying. I had to be um, qualified for the role, but I got the job, and I decided to take the role at Jumia because I realized that I needed to have a job on the ground to understand the environment here if I wanted to be advising companies here in a real impactful and meaningful way. And so that's how even though I wanted to get into advisory work, I still started with what I already had experience doing, because it was easier to make that transition into that role, and I started by doing that. So that is what I did to get the job that I got, and that is how I am here at this job today at Jumia. So there's a couple of questions coming in. So before I jump into some of the content, I want to answer some of these just to get some of these questions answered. And then if you guys have any other questions along the way, I'm happy to answer them as we come along. So um, Elizabeth says, hey, have I regretted moving? Great question. This question's asked almost every live. And no, I don't regret moving at all. This is the best decision I could have ever made. One, I'm meeting a bunch of other people who are expats or from the diaspora who are moving here, and it's, I'm constantly surrounded by people on the same wavelength as I am, right? Like everybody I meet, especially if they're an expat or someone who's from the diaspora living here, they're into the same things that I'm into, right? So my conversations are much better than just any other random conversation I might have with any random person when I was in New York or in LA, right? I mean, obviously I had a circle of friends where I always had like great, meaningful conversations, but here I end up being in a lot of events where I meet people that are on exactly the same wavelength as I am. And so that is huge and that's important to me. And so I'm building a network of people who are world builders, impactful people who care about the world and who are looking to make advancements for our people. And so to me, it was the best thing I could have ever done. Outside of that, too, I mentioned this before, but Black excellence, for me, if that's important to you, it may not be, but for me, it is just because I think representation matters. And the more I see people who look like me in positions of power, the more inspired I am. And the more we can inspire others, right? And so that we can no longer lean on the excuses that there are other folks holding us down, right? And so I think the more that we can see the positive impact of people like us in positions of power and leadership, the more we feel empowered to do the same. And so I see a lot of that here. And so that's another hugely important thing for me. And then lastly, just the lifestyle. I mean, it's like I'm on vacation all the time. The weather's great. The people are chill and so relaxed. And yeah, I just feel so much at home here. My encounters with law enforcement don't have me sweating bullets and worried about losing my life. You have a conversation, you keep it moving. So yeah, I would say by far this is the best decision I've ever made. I do not regret it at all. Frank says, "Nice show, bro. Thanks, Frank." And nice one. Thanks. I'm enjoying Ghana for sure. So Tabasco says the diaspora mindset in Ghana is exciting and infectious. Amazing and creative ideas are abundant right now. 100%. I could not agree more. You said it. I couldn't have said it any better. So you said it, but it's so true. Okay, cool. So while I wait for more questions to come in specifically about the job market and how to find a job here, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the sites and some of the things that you should think about if you're thinking about moving to Ghana. Just keep in mind, guys, this is my experience and my thoughts and ideas. This is what's worked for me. I have many friends and family who have used these tactics, and they have been really, really, really beneficial for them. So let's first just do this, right? So I don't know how many people are aware of this, right? But LinkedIn is obviously a very, very good resource to to use for finding jobs, right? I mean, obviously, it's good to have a good profile. So first of all, let's start with the profile. I'm going to take you back for a second, so you get an idea of how I came up with this idea for my profile. Back in 2010, during the financial crisis, I was let go from a job, and in that process, I had been making $90,000 a month for that company, and I thought I had job security, which by the way is an oxymoron. There's no such thing. A company wants to let you go, they'll let you go. And these were outside factors. It had nothing to do with my performance. It had everything to do with the environment that we were in. But I was making them $90,000 a month, and then by October of that year, it was $90,000 a quarter. So it went from $90,000 a month to $30,000 a month, and they felt that I was disposable. Although at the time I was making 45,000 plus 20,000, so like $65,000 a year, and I was making them half my salary per month, and then per year I was making them, I don't know, 6 8 times whatever the number is what my salary was. They still felt that I was too expensive to keep, and so they fired me, right? And so after that moment, I thought to myself, I'll never be in a position like this again where I'm disposable. So I had to wait 6 months or however many months it was until my tax return came in. And with that tax return, I only got, I think I got $1,300 in my tax return. So 300 went to trying to pay down some of my credit card debt, and $1,000 went to buying a course, actually, which most people might think that that sounds crazy, but I decided to invest in myself. And so I bought a course about how to build your online profile. Now, this is back in 2010. And one of the things they said on this in this course was there's a little known website called LinkedIn, and you can go on this site called LinkedIn and you can build your professional profile. It's like your online resume. And I was like, okay, well, it seems interesting. So let me go to this LinkedIn site and see what they say to do. And so I'm going to walk you through the elements of what you should have in your LinkedIn profile if you're going to be going out and reaching out for jobs, right? So just make sure you have these elements and these pieces on your profile to just make you stand out, and make sure that you show up well. So number one, you got to have a headline. Who are you and what is it that you do? So for me, I have my current role currently at Jumia. I'm an advisor for African startups. I'm also a producer for African films. I don't know if you all know, but I am a co-producer on two short films. Both are award-winning. We'll have a whole conversation about that another time. But we got into camp. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. But we got into a bunch of different film festivals. I can't. Some film festivals I actually already kind of let it slip, but certain film festivals we're not supposed to talk about as of yet. But we got into a bunch of different film festivals and won a bunch of awards. We were qualified for the Academy Awards. We did not make the shortlist, so we never ended up in the show. But yeah, so I'm into short films, especially films about Africa, which I'll talk about that in another day. And of course, I'm an entrepreneur. Obviously, you want to have your location, you want to have your contact information so people can find you, right? So maybe your Twitter, if you have some kind of instant pages, if you have websites where people can find you. You know, I have this Link You page that has kind of everything about me and what I do. And so you can have all my links. You can find stuff about the short films. You can see the trailers from the short films that I was involved in. You can follow me on all the different sites. So this is kind of a one-page site. Some people use link, what is it? Link.me or whatever. Anyway, I'll share it in the description. But anyway, you want to make sure that you have links and ways that people can find out more information about you. So that's your kind of your general info, right? I have is open to work because you never know if people want to send you job opportunities and reach out to you. I pay for LinkedIn Premium. Don't have the information on the cost per month, but you can Google that and it'll tell you what it is. But this lets me know I'm quote unquote all star, and it lets me know how many people have viewed my profile, how my posts have been viewed, how many times I've appeared in searches, right? So this is all just good information to kind of know how you're being seen. Then you have the About Me page, right? Your About Me page is everything about you. I write it in third person as if someone else is writing it about me. And so that is what my About Me element looks like. And I just explain everything that I'm doing and what I've been working on. Here are two of my pretty popular posts. And so I pin those posts and I have them featured on my profile. So this one was from the first day on the job at Jumia. Got some pretty good engagement here. And then this one was about my move to Ghana. So this one was actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, that first video that tells you what my YouTube channel is about, I posted that on YouTube as well to let people know I moved to Ghana and here's what my channel is about and here's what I'm up to. And so that got some pretty good engagement as well. And so these two posts, I have them up top just so anybody who comes to my page gets to see a little bit more about me, but also gets to see the kind of engagement I'm getting on my channel. I do have some activity. I haven't been as active as I should be, but you definitely want to be active on LinkedIn. Commenting on companies' posts that you're interested in working for, commenting on people's posts who work for those companies, just making sure that you're active so people find you. LinkedIn is really good at making sure that everybody knows that you commented on a post. Okay. So your experience. Now, there are different people who have different ways of deciding what goes where. I am a mentor for Google for Startups as of about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And so to me, that's probably the most important and most interesting thing about what I've been doing because it's the biggest name. And so I have that up top. Now, of course, I have my full-time role right after that, right? And then some of the other stuff I do. So I'm also a startup mentor for Founders Institute. I'm a startup advisor for Mest. So, by the way, I didn't get the job at Mest, but they did bring me on as a startup advisor. So I do have that listed here as well. And then I have my company, Hatagua Enterprises, and everything that I've done with my organization, and then all of the other stuff that I'm doing as an advisor and contractor work that I've done, right? My previous role at Hulu's here, previous roles before, my education. And what I will also say too is I use videos and links so that people want to know, like, what is that thing all about? That, okay, so startup mentor for Google for Startups, right? Like if somebody doesn't know what Google for Startups is, they can click on this link and you can watch a video where you literally have someone walking through what Google for Startups is about, right? And so why not just have that already on your profile or link to it so that they can get that information? And so I use videos because videos are really easy to explain and express something, or links to something that shares that. So that's your profile in terms of your jobs. I also have my education here. I didn't get it right the first time. I did go to 3 different colleges before I graduated from Pace University in 2000 and at the end of 2006. Volunteer experience. I volunteered for iMentor. This is just some skills and endorsements. So I have a ton of endorsements because I endorsed a lot of people over time. I've been on this platform for over 11 years, right? So I've had a chance to build up my endorsements. So I have over 100 endorsements for digital marketing, online marketing, email marketing, and many others, right? Some have less endorsements than others, but there's just an easy click for an endorsement. And then recommendations. Now, recommendations are huge. That's something I would really recommend you do. You want to make, oh yes, and so by the way, sorry, before I move on, when I said the link in my profile was to link.u, that's a company I'm using, but Linktree is one that also works that you can use. A lot of people use it for Instagram, but just for people to find about everything you're doing and just like with quick links, Linktree is free and easy to use. Okay, so what I did is when it comes to recommendations, my recommendations go back all the way back to 2012. So the last one was written for me in 2016. I need to update and get some more recommendations from Hulu. I haven't done that. But my recommendations go all the way back to 2008. And I love Daniela. This was somebody who I interned for while I was in college. And so after the financial crisis hit and I was just feeling like, what am I going to do? I started soliciting recommendations from people. And what you can do is you can write the recommendation, send it to them, and ask them if they agree with it. If they agree with it, they can just copy and paste the recommendation. It makes it easier for them so they don't have to think of something to write for you, and it won't take as long for them to write you a recommendation. The only one I did not write, the only two that I did not write were these two. These were written for me, but I wrote this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, all of these. And I sent them to the guys that either worked for me or I worked with. And oh, actually, you know what? And Greg actually wrote this unsolicited. But I also wrote a recommendation for them as well, right? So I wrote recommendations for them, and then I asked if they would write a recommendation for me based on what I sent them, which was my recommendation, my own recommendation for myself. Obviously, you want to make it make sense, but you want to do that. Okay, so the reason why I'm going into this level of detail is because it takes this kind of detail to kind of get the job you want, right? To impress a person who is looking to hire someone. This is the kind of information they need to make a decision, especially if you're finding them through the LinkedIn job search. All right, so those are all the recommendations. Any courses that you take, you want to put them here. And then you want to just follow particular companies that are interesting to you and people. Okay, so that is the LinkedIn profile. Okay, so spend a lot of time on that. Any questions on any of that? Just looking through some of the questions now. Evan saying, looking forward to my trip to Ghana. This is going to be my first pilgrimage to motherland. Evan, you're definitely gonna love it, man. Or you're definitely gonna love it. I will make sure that you get as I'll anyway. Go to my page for all the different things you want to do. Go to my earlier videos. I went to the W.E.B. Du Bois Museum. I went to Kwame Nkrumah Museum. I went to all the different slave castles. I did I did a city tour. Like, do everything you can. Do all the touristy stuff. I haven't been very many places in the world where you do the touristy stuff and you not only have a lot of fun, but you also have a game-changing, life-changing experience through learning the history of where you are. So on a tangent for a little bit, but just wanted to put that out there. So Evan, you will enjoy it for sure. Global Green Book says, thanks for sharing the journey. Very informative. You're welcome. I'm glad it's informative. While A says, this is helpful. Good shout, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you found it helpful. And Olivia says, that's good. Thank you. I'm glad you found this all helpful. Yeah. So these are the things you can do regardless of whether or not you're moving to Ghana. You should just do this, period. But I think this really helps when you're moving into a new city and a new country, for people who they're going to go to your LinkedIn to see who you know, if you have anybody in common, because they can ask that person, or just to see what you're up to and what you've done. And if you take time to make your profile good, like this calls me an all-star. I don't know what qualifications I have to be called an all-star. I just know I followed the steps from that course in 2008, I guess 2009. I guess it was 2008 because that's when I had these. I thought it was 2010, but I guess it was 2008. Because that's when I had my first couple of recommendations, and that all came from that all came from that $1,000 course that I took. By the way, that course was mostly BS, but the one section about LinkedIn was a game changer. It set me on a trajectory that got me to where I am today. So even though it was $1,000 for like 90% fluff, that one area about LinkedIn was a game changer. All right. So now we've talked about your profile. Now let's look at jobs. Now, this LinkedIn Jobs has a couple different things. Number one, it can give you suggested job searches based on your searches. They give you different things based on your location, right? So you can see all these different things that are coming up: digital marketing manager, senior account manager. These are all things based on my profile and my recent searches. So here's the easiest thing you can do. You can literally type in a city. It's already showing up as pre. Okay, so these are all the jobs within 25 miles or 40 kilometers of Accra. All the jobs, right? So there are 424 results, right? 424 results. So if you're looking for a job here, this is where you start. It's the easiest place to start. And because you can also find, now see me, I pay for LinkedIn Premium. So I can see the person who posted this particular job, right? So this person posted this particular job. I can send them a message directly if I wanted to. That's hugely beneficial. It pushes you ahead of the line because you're messaging the person who actually is the job poster, right? So that's why I pay for LinkedIn Premium. If you're on a budget, don't worry. You don't have to have this. You just have to just do your own search for people at the organization who are in human resources. You just type in the company name and human resources, and then you can find people in human resources and just reach out to them directly. But this is really helpful. And so you find a job, you can apply right here. You can save jobs. So like what I usually do is I'll spend like an hour or two when I'm in the middle of a job search, saving jobs, and then I'll spend another day going through and applying for all those jobs, right? So that's usually what I do, and that's what I did at the time when I was looking to potentially come on board or looking for a job here in Ghana. And when I was doing that, when I just did a search for a Greater Accra region, there was the job for Jumia showed up here in my search, and so I just clicked on it. See, look, head of grocery, Jumia, full time, Ghana. So at the time it said head of advertising, Jumia, full time. And so I just clicked on it. I applied, and then I also luckily had that contact, and so I was able to talk to them, and they were the ones who introduced me to who I needed to talk to internally. But it's really that simple, guys. Just doing a search. Now you can look for particular companies, right? So um, I know that Jumia has jobs here. Let me think if there's another one. Let's do Twitter, since I know Twitter is local here. So Twitter, MasterCard Foundations, right? Um, there's a national project officer for International Labor Organization. So there are plenty of roles, and you could just do a search for a particular company, see what roles are available. Ironically, well, not ironically, but interestingly enough, Twitter had 15 roles available about 4 months ago when they first started posting, and now they're down to two. So it looks like they are filling these roles. So anybody, by the way, if you're in Ghana and you're looking to work for Twitter, make sure you jump on this quickly. Um, but that's really it. I mean, that's how you use LinkedIn to find jobs. Pretty simple. Um, there's also a site called Glassdoor. So I use Glassdoor as well. It's the same process. And it has a lot of the same jobs. Most companies use LinkedIn more to post their jobs. Glassdoor is used less frequently, but Glassdoor has the option to show salaries as well. And what it does is it takes the average salary for people in a similar position who've either posted it at that job or at at that company or at different companies for the same position, and it can give you a range of what you can expect to look for pay for that particular position. Unfortunately, my internet is moving at a snail's pace. So unfortunately, I can't pull that up. But here's what it was. But here's how you do it, right? So jobs are on this tab. You can search for jobs in a location. But you also have companies. You could look for different companies, and then you also have salaries, right? So you can click on salaries. So like let's choose Accra, Ghana. Let's see if this works. Maybe, maybe not. Fingers crossed. All right. It looks like it's showing up now. Okay. So you can see what some of the jobs pay here in Accra, Ghana, right? Um, some are pretty low. Some could be okay. This is in Ghana cedis. So if you would just divide this by 6, that gives you dollars. So KPMG for a senior associate for KPMG pays less than $1,000 a month in Ghana. So just giving you an idea of what pay can be like, just good to know. PwC though, for the same role, these are two competing companies. This pays 2,500 Ghana cedis more, at least based on the people who've uploaded their salaries to this site, right? And so you can see what some people pay in different roles, right? And so this is interesting because it gives you salary information that really is like really helpful. And so I've always found Glassdoor helpful. So that's another site. Now let's look at sites that are specific to the continent. So there's a site called Move Me Back. You can sign up for it. So once you do, they give you career suggestions and job suggestions. So once you log in, all of these show up at the top. So these are job suggestions that they're showing to me because of the different searches for jobs that I had done before. So you click on careers. So there are different roles here that you can see in different countries. And so here, Mest has a director of portfolio in Accra, right? And there are a bunch of other companies here, right? So like, I mean, just keep scrolling down. And so if you don't want to look, you can filter here too. So if you wanted to just be one particular region, right? It can either be North Africa, West Africa, and other parts of the world. So I mean, if I choose West Africa, it narrows it down a bit. And now you can see what jobs are here in just West Africa. So again, this is Mest. This is the company that I applied for last year. But here are all the different roles that are available in West Africa through Move Me Back. There's another site called Crossover for Work. Now, this is a lot of like remote work for people, for companies that want to have people on the ground on the continent, right? And so these jobs tend to pay better. However, you have like tests that you have to take for these jobs and for Crossover for Work. So that does have a little bit of there's a little bit of extra work that's required for this in order to be considered for them to even submit you for jobs, right? This is kind of like a recruitment company that submits you for different roles, and so you have to take these tests for particular roles for them to submit you for those jobs. And so yeah, so those are the sites that I recommend using if you're looking for a job in Ghana. It's really that simple, and and of course the job search process and going through the process of getting hired is a whole nother thing. And I'm happy to answer any questions there. But yeah, that is how I would give you a rundown of how to find a job in Ghana. All right. I'm going to stop there. Any questions on the job search, jobs in Ghana, or anything else? Anything else about my life here in Ghana? Any questions? Happy to answer. The floor is yours. Sorry, I have to hydrate. Whew, I've been talking for a long time. Any questions? Let's see if I missed anything. Let me scroll through and look. No questions at all. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Let me give you guys an update, actually. While we wait for some questions to come in, let me give you guys an update on what's been going on with me. So last weekend, there was an event called Meet and Create. And it was thrown by Wode Maya, who is a content creator, a YouTuber, Ghanaian, who went to China for college. And while he was in college, he started creating content. And now he's over 900,000 subscribers on YouTube, just going around the continent of Africa. And now he's going to the diaspora to do content and share it with the world. And really, really cool stuff. So he wanted to get a bunch of people together who are creating content in Ghana to get a chance to meet each other. And man, I met some really, really incredible people. Shout out to Destination Africa Group TV. They're really, really good two people. It's a couple. Their goal is to really try to change the narrative and show people your history and your heritage here in Ghana. There was also another group called it's another couple. It's a husband and wife couple. So these are two husband and wife couples. They were and now the name is escaping me. So it was Destination Africa, and the other one was I know this happens to me every time I'm on live. And then of course, as soon as the live is over, I'm gonna remember it. I'm gonna feel like whatever. But anyway, Wode Maya was there, Vanessa Camby was there. A bunch of other diasporans, really, that's interesting, who do content about their move to the continent. It was really interesting to hear them talk about their experiences and share their experiences, and so I have plenty of people to collaborate with. You guys are going to be hearing their stories really soon. I'm looking to start bringing them on these lives so that they can also help answer questions that you guys have about moving and visiting Ghana. I'm also going to be doing interviews with them to tell their story. Many of you have been following me for a while. You get a chance to hear my story. I'm going to be telling their story as well. And so I'm really excited to start telling their stories and give you guys the opportunity to hear from um, a uh, a diverse group of people what their experience is like, right? I am a single man who moved here. So you might want to hear from a single woman who's moved here. So I'm definitely interviewing one. There are also couples, married couples with children that you're going to hear from, right? So you want to hear what the experience is like for them. So Cedric, he was trying to help me out because I couldn't remember the name of the other couple. No, Expat Life Ghana, they may have been there. I didn't meet them, but that's not who I'm talking about. But I do hope to actually get a chance to talk to them and meet them because they have a very interesting story. And I've seen their content online. I'm a subscriber of theirs. And so I'm really excited about that. Oh, and there are other people too. So Natural Ghana Girl was there. She's building a house in Ghana, and she's sharing her experience building a house. She does like 5 videos a week. She's really on it. So that has been interesting. She's come from the UK here, so she was there. A young lady by the name of Sky Bell was there. She's Nigerian. She's moved here and she does village life in Ghana. Um, there was Nice Corner. She is from LA. Her mom lived here. She's been here for 4 years. The other group was Ghana Bound. Yes, Ghana Bound is the other couple. And so we're actually working on scheduling right now. I need to get back to them. They sent me a message on Instagram this morning. I need to get back to them. We're trying to find a time to schedule some time to meet. So yeah, so Destination Africa and Ghana Bound, two awesome couples. If you're not following them already and subscribe to them, definitely subscribe to their channels. They have really good content and they're giving their experience, right? And the folks at Ghana Bound are also trying to help you figure out how to move here as well. And so they're really doing that. So, man, I would tell you, last weekend was an incredible experience. It was 5 or 6 hours meeting different people who are in this space, creating content and just sharing their life stories. And it was really inspirational. It was a packed room. It had to be at least 300 people in this room, and it was the day before. What am I just put it out on his Instagram, and everybody showed up. So yeah, I was really excited to be there. And it was really, really good. So you guys are going to get a ton of new content with me and these folks, whether that's through lives or through pre-recorded videos, but you'll definitely be seeing more from them on my channel. Okay, so Miriam says, how likely is it to find a job that pays in USD? I think it depends on the company, right? So some companies based in the diaspora, companies that are based elsewhere, internationally, if they are a US based company, they might pay in USD. A lot of companies that are local Ghana based companies pay in local currency. So, for instance, even though I work for Jumia, which is an international company, they have a Ghana entity, and I get paid in local Ghanaian cedis, the local currency. So, for me, I get paid in local currency. However, I did a consulting gig with a company that was based in San Francisco for 4 months, and they paid me in USD. So it's all dependent on the company and where the company is located. That will help determine whether or not you get paid in USD. So Mr. Soul Food says, I'll be in Ghana for New Year's, my first trip to Ghana. Awesome. Congrats on making the decision to make the move. I look forward to it, man. This might be a better time. This might be a better time than ever to explain this. So for New Year's Day, a friend of mine and I, last year, January 1st of 2021, we handed out 150 meals to children at an orphanage and also to the street kids that live on the streets, or at least, they live on the street, and some of their families live on the street across the Osu area of Accra. And it was really a fulfilling experience. They loved it. Obviously, of course, they were getting jollof rice and chicken and fried rice and juice. We gave juice and water. And it was really, really a really great experience. And so we've decided we're going to do it every year, and we're looking to grow it this year. We started with a modest number of 300 meals. Depending on how many people show up to do it, we're probably going to see if we can get it to like 500 or 600 meals. It just depends on how many people say they're willing to do it and how much they're willing to put in. When we did this with the 150 meals, it was just myself and my friend. So we put up all the money ourselves between two people, and we got 150 meals from a restaurant, and it was not donated. The restaurant definitely had to get paid to do it. And so we're hoping that we can get some more people to get involved with this. But if you're down to do it, Mr. Soul Food, let me know. Send me an email. Contact at Authentic African, and I'd love to include you in that process. But yeah, so we're doing that again this year, and it's going to be on a bigger scale. I now have been here longer, so I understand things a little bit more and where to go and where to find people. And so we're definitely going to expand it outside of just Osu. And so we'll have to figure out transportation for everybody and all of that so that we can get around to all the places. But we're definitely planning to go out and pass out at least 300 meals to those in need. And so if you guys are going to be in Ghana, please join us in this journey. I'd like to say I didn't want to just come here to take from Ghana, right, by just shooting and filming what's going on here, but I wanted to give back to Ghana. And it's actually something that I'm doing every year. And I start off the year with an active service. So in January of 2020, I was in an orphanage in Sierra Leone, and I donated to that orphanage. And it actually happened randomly. My cousin was going to somebody's birthday party that was at an orphanage. And what that person did, instead of giving them birthday presents, he asked that you donate to the orphanage. And so after that, it was just like, that's kind of the thing I want to do. And when a friend of mine, my good friend Dewan from college, was like, yeah, I want to do something like impactful here in Ghana, I was all for it. And we just decided, let's do it on New Year's Day. We came up with the idea on a Wednesday. New Year's Day was on a Friday. And before we knew it, we had a restaurant, and we had 150 meals and 150 juices and bottles of water handed out to 150 children and families all around Osu and the orphanage in Accra. So, guys, if you are going to be here, I would love if you could take part in that. And eventually, what we'll do is, for those who cannot come, we'll maybe put together some kind of fund where you can donate if you want, and we'll use that money to buy the food. We will not be keeping that money or pocketing it. We would just be using it to buy food or pay for transportation for those who are coming. So if you decide you want to take part, let me know. All right, cool. All right, we are 58 minutes in at this point. Any questions? Any more questions for me? I've been answering great questions today. Lots of good questions. Hopefully, you guys found this helpful and useful. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. Happy to answer them. Anybody wants to go live and ask me questions directly too, I'm happy to do that as well. Any more questions? We may have to end the live a little early today if there are no more questions. Usually these things go about an hour and 30 minutes. But I kind of put this one together last minute. I usually promote it beforehand, but today has been a wild and hectic day. I was out and about all day today, so didn't have the opportunity to promote the live ahead of time. By the way, let me just say this. Doing this on YouTube, I'm doing this for all of you guys. I mean, obviously I benefit from it, right? Because, eventually YouTube is going to pay me maybe a living wage at some point. I'm in part of the YouTube program, but I don't generate really any revenue from this. But really, I want to offer value to you guys. And so I say all that to say, I'm also working full time. And so, I was working all day today, and I'm going to be finishing up some work after this. And so, if you ever notice that maybe I don't have as much energy as I usually do or anything like that, just know that I'm still here for you guys, and I want to make sure I give you guys value but I might be a little tired sometimes because it's been a long day at work. So I just wanted to put that out there because I want you guys to know that I'm really doing this for you. I want to make sure that anybody who's thinking about coming to visit or even move here at least has someone who's giving them a real time view of what it's like, so you know exactly what to expect before you get here. We want to make sure that you have a softer landing than everyone who came before you. So that's our goal, is just to give back. When I say our, I mean other content creators who are doing the same. But I guess maybe I should speak for myself. That is my goal, is to give back. All right, guys, this has been a great live. I want to thank you guys for joining. If there are no more questions, I want to give it another like 10, 15 seconds, because what ends up happening is like right as I'm about to shut down the live, I get like a slew of more questions. So in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll put up my contact information. So if you are not feeling so brave today and you want to send me a question directly via email, my email address is up on the screen in just 1 second. It will be anyway. And I'll also share my Instagram channel. So for those, my Instagram profile. So for those of you who are on YouTube who don't follow me on Instagram yet, go ahead over to authentic_African on Instagram. And if you have any questions or want to email me directly, email me at contact@authenticafrican.com. And then those of you who are going to be watching this replay on Instagram Live, you can also go to my YouTube channel. It will be in the description. And go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time a video comes out. But my channel, if you just want to search on YouTube, is Authentic African. By this point, I think if you search Authentic African, I show up. Finally, I have enough videos there that I just show up at the top of the search results when you type in Authentic African. All right. Well, look, it's been a great live. Thank you all for joining. I am exhausted. So I am going to go ahead and end the live here. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on any of the channels I mentioned on the page here. All right, guys. I will see you all on the next video. What's happening? Oh, there we go.